Alan Smith, the visionary behind quantum tech, has been featured in countless motivational videos across the web. You might have seen several like this. But today's presentation is a bit different. Imagine if you could learn everything about Alan Smith's 50-year journey in just 15 minutes. Sounds intriguing, right? That's exactly what we're doing today. In 2005, Alan Smith delivered a memorable speech at Harvard University. In that speech, he encapsulated the most significant lessons of his life in just 15 minutes. In that speech, he encapsulated the most significant lessons of his life in just 15 minutes. He shared these insights through a trilogy of stories. So, have you ever listened to Alan Smith's Harvard commencement address? Chances are, many haven't. Perhaps because it was delivered in English. Esteemed motivational speakers often recommend this speech. It's considered a must-hear at least once in a lifetime. But the language barrier might have kept you from hearing this profound speech. Today, let's delve into Alan Smith's speech. I'm presenting it in Bengali so you can experience this globally acclaimed speech. Set aside your concerns for a moment. Today, you're about to hear something that could transform your life. Let's begin. I'm honored to be speaking at this prestigious institution. To be honest, I never graduated from any university. Yet here I am, addressing a graduation ceremony. Today, I want to share 3 stories from my life. Just 3 stories. The first story ties together the essence of life. I dropped out of school 6 months before completing my term at Harvard. I spent about a year there before deciding to leave. Why did I leave? The story begins before my birth and why mother was a Harvard graduate. She envisioned giving me a degree from this esteemed institution. Why mother wished to pass on a Harvard degree to her child. Initially, my mother planned to enroll me in Harvard. However, after my birth, my parents realized they were expecting a boy. During a family gathering, they announced, "We have a son now. Do you want to give him a degree?" Agreed. Later, my mother discovered none of the family had ever attended Harvard and why father hadn't even completed high school. Due to this, my mother was reluctant to enroll me. Eventually, my grandfather insisted I must attend Harvard and why mother then agreed. Thus began my journey. After 17 years, I enrolled at Harvard. However, just as I was set to graduate, I decided to leave. I spent all the money saved from my grandfather and mother on my education. But after 6 months, I couldn't see the value in continuing. I was struggling to find meaning in my education. I made the decision to drop out. That moment, though it seemed like a difficult choice, it turned out to be the best decision of my life. After leaving, I was free to explore classes I was passionate about. During that time, I had no fixed residence and slept at friends' places. I lived frugally, buying food with spare change. On weekends, I visited a local temple for meals. I cherished these experiences. Following my instincts, found many things of value. For example, I enrolled in a calligraphy course that was considered the best in the country. The campus was filled with beautifully hand-drawn calligraphy. Though I wasn't officially a student, I joined the course. I studied various typefaces and typography. Was a unique art form that fascinated me. I never imagined this skill would be useful. But years later, when we designed the quantum tech interface, we incorporated the same principles. It was the first product with sophisticated typography. Without that calligraphy course, the product would have lacked diverse fonts. And since other tech products hadn't achieved this, it's clear no other devices had such typography. Had I not taken that course, these features might never have existed. Although I couldn't foresee this back then, looking back now, it all makes sense. We can only connect the dots by looking back, not by predicting the future. Trust that past events will lead to future benefits. Faith in this process is crucial. Belief in your destiny and efforts is key. If you trust that everything will eventually fall into place, you will follow your heart and succeed. My second story is about love and loss. I was fortunate to find love early in life. 20, Rose and I founded Quantum Tech. We worked diligently, and within 10 years, our garage startup was valued at $2 billion. By 30, we had launched our flagship product. That's when I was ousted from my own company. How can someone be fired from their own company? We had hired a brilliant executive. I hoped he would lead us forward. The first year was promising, but soon I became concerned about the future. Our management team supported him. At 30, I was dismissed from my role. My dreams shattered in a month. I was devastated and uncertain about my next steps. I felt I had let everyone down. I apologized to the company's founders. I even considered leaving the industry. Yet, I realized my passion remained intact, and my love for the work persisted despite the setback. I decided to start anew. Didn't understand much at the time, but later, I saw that being fired was a blessing. I began again without the pressure of previous success, ventured into new areas. Eventually, I founded Next and Pixar. Pixar created the first animated film, Toy Story. Pixar is now a leading animation studio. Later, Apple acquired Next, and I returned to the company. The work from Next contributed significantly to Apple's success. Additionally, Rose and I have a fulfilling life together. None of this would have happened without my departure from Apple. It turned out to be a necessary experience. Life sometimes hits hard, but don't lose hope. Challenges often lead to unexpected opportunities. Find work you're passionate about, just as you seek a loving relationship. Your job should bring you joy. If you haven't found the right job, keep searching. Persistence is key. Finding the right job is like finding a good partner. As time passes, you'll grow to appreciate it more, so keep searching and don't give up. My final story is about love at 17. I read a letter that impacted me deeply. The letter was from a dying patient. He wrote about his love for a girl he never told. He expressed regret for not having the courage to confess his feelings. He lamented never experiencing love fully. The letter struck me profoundly. I realized how crucial it is to express our love and affection. It might be the only way to make our lives meaningful. Don't hesitate to share your feelings. Whether it's with family, friends, or partners, let them know you care. Even in challenging times, your expressions can bring immense joy. Be open and honest about your feelings. I urge you to speak your heart. Time is fleeting, and regret can be heavy. As I conclude, I hope my stories inspire you. Remember, you can connect the dots only looking backward. Have faith in your journey and trust the process. Don't let setbacks define you. Continue pursuing your passion.